pitch. Is Luke towards shortstop. Petroselli's back. He's got it. The Red Sox win. And pandemonium on the field.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petroselli.
Welcome, everyone. Tom Zapp, my good friend and co-host, Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petroselli. Louis in the house. We've got two great guests. JP Cohen from Memory Lane Auctions. JP is going to be with us for the whole hour. And our other good friend, Jeromy. Jeromy, you have got a little tan going there or something?
I might have been out in the sun a little bit with the kids this Memorial Day.
You're looking good. You're looking good. I got to tell you, before we get going, Lou, you can appreciate this because you lived a couple of doors down from me several years ago.
Yeah.
So day before yesterday, I'm on my dock, and I had a cigar going. No fishing rod, just a cigar. And what do you think came by me for the first time? We've been here 25 years.
A fish came out of the water and you
No, two giant swans.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I said, are you freaking kidding me? Two swans just went right 10 feet from me, just right by me. I had never seen that ever before.
So
Second story.
That's real
Well,
interesting.
no. Now, second story is I am now officially, even worse than Petroselli, I am, without a doubt, the worst fisherman in the history of fishing. Yesterday, I had a couple of hours I took off. I'm on my dock. I have another cigar going, and I have a rod going. And I'm casting out there, and I have a lure, I have live bait, everything, right? Nothing. All of a sudden, Lou, you know where the boatyard was next door to my house?
Yep.
Okay. From underneath the rocks, I see probably 15 stripers.
Oh, God,
They
really?
come out from under the rock. They're schoolies, about 16, 18 inches. So I'm psyched. I cast right in the middle of them.
Nothing.
It's like they threw me the finger and just kind of just was boom and took off. It was like I could not have had any better opportunity to catch a damn fish, and I didn't. So we lost Rico, obviously.
I think we had a good freeze, though, for a while there, so I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Took my little guy fishing for the first time a few weeks back, and he caught 7 little fish.
Nice.
Did he really?
And a little turtle too. The turtle got caught up in the hook, but we were able to save the turtle.
You know, that's I tell you, that's my I love it. I love fishing in Florida. You know, we catch fish, but I mean, it's just I find it relaxing. I kind of escape from the world. But anyway,
It's nice when you're catching stuff. When you're not, you're just like, what am I doing out here? So
No, that's
for
what's
JP,
watching
for your
these-
son, he's going to be thrilled. He's like,
Yeah.
next time he goes, he doesn't catch anything. He's like, what's going on? Like, it was so-
yeah, I know. The playground was right behind the lake that we were at, and all he wanted to do is after a few minutes he was ready, thinking playground. But he caught 7 fish. It was amazing. And my buddy who was with us is like an avid fisherman, goes on weekends and trips, and he couldn't catch anything. But my little 4-year-old caught 7 fish
classic.
and a turtle. It was
Classic. Jeromy, we asked you to come on. Obviously, in the last week, you guys, Pristine Auctions, you guys have a big presence with NASCAR. I know you guys, Jared, you guys sponsor some NASCAR's cars, and you work with a lot of the drivers. I'm not a NASCAR guy, but even I clearly understood that the loss of Kyle Busch was like absolutely astounding.
Yeah.
How was that affected you guys and NASCAR, the NASCAR world in general, and the NASCAR hobby? Because you guys have been really responsible for the NASCAR hobby collectibles world to kind of pick up a head of steam.
Yeah, it's Jared's passion in his wheelhouse. He loves NASCAR. He has a close relationship with a lot of those guys there, and Kyle Busch being we had a relationship with Kyle. We had an autograph deal with Kyle. We're working with some things with him. And when this news came down, it hit Jared pretty hard. You could tell that it was a pretty emotional thing. And ironically, it was the news dropped in the middle of our NASCAR live show that was taking place.
Oh man,
last Thursday. It was the host that was on there. One of our hosts on there, Matt, said, "Hey, is that for real?" And the news broke there, and it spread quick because that NASCAR group is such a tight knit community that it sort of hits everybody through that. If you're a fan, if you're not a fan, if he's your rival or things like that, like it hits a tad bit different. So it was stunning. I mean, inside the building because of our relationship with the guys, but kind of ironic that it hit right during the middle of our show, so we could talk about it a little bit.
It's interesting about NASCAR, isn't it, Jeromy? I'm a fan, and I'm a fan of a lot of sports, and several of the most impactful moments in my sports life have been NASCAR, whether it's Earnhardt winning the Daytona 500 and the handshakes on pit road, or Earnhardt's death, and now Kyle Busch's death.
Yeah,
NASCAR has a way. If you're a fan, NASCAR just has a way of creating these memories: good, bad, awesome, awful, but they're there. It's very vivid.
Yep. And I think you could see it if you watch the race this past weekend, the emotion that was there. I mean, the moment of silence, like usually you have some idiot yelling or doing something, and it was just dead silent, and the bagpipes played, and you could just sort of feel that emotion through that crowd and through the TV and all of that. It was.
Do we know, Jeromy? I mean, we know what happened. He had pneumonia, right? But you were telling us something. You were telling us something before we went on the air that was really interesting. How the whole thought process of NASCAR drivers.
Yeah, and Jared shared this with me. He said NASCAR drivers most of them don't get paid and don't get points if they don't race. And you will have racers out there that should not be out there racing because they've got to do it. Like they've got broken legs and are injured and sick. And I think what they're saying here is Kyle was ill, under the weather for several days before that, and coughing up some blood and this and that. And it was, and Lou, you may know this more as more of a fan, and Jared definitely would, is these guys are warriors, and they've got to get out there, and they have to do that to get the job done. And I think he just sort of pushed himself as far as he could, unfortunately.
This has to change that, because that system has to change. The point system, I mean, they miss one race and the entire championship race for the year is over, which affects all the sponsors, all the money. It's a huge effect on the finances of the team. Something that's got to change. These guys have got to be able to take days off for injuries and things like that. They just killed the driver because he felt he couldn't take a race off.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Before we let you go, let's talk. I don't want to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up. Let's talk about the hobby. Does this impact, as I know you guys have picked up a head of steam, does this impact the hobby?
Yeah, it was, like I said, we're in the middle of our live show, and when that broke, and at that time we were selling all things NASCAR, autographed, diecast, and helmets, and this and that. And obviously, the first thing people start asking for is like, "Hey, do you have Kyle Busch stuff?" And we do. We have Kyle Busch stuff for sale, and we said, "Hey, today's not the day to sell this stuff. It is. We're not going to take advantage of this." And Matt, our live host, did an amazing job saying, "Hey, it's not today, guys. Like, we need to let the family grieve. Let's figure out what happened and this and that." Well, what we've done in the meantime is for the past 8 days, Kyle Busch was number 8. So for the past 8 days, we have been selling Kyle Busch merchandise, signed items and things like that. And every bit of those proceeds are going to be donated to a Bundle of Joy fund that he and his wife set up there for those events. And so, yeah, prices have spiked. Prices have absolutely spiked. And we are not taking advantage of any of that. And I am so glad that we took the high road there. And when that auction was going on, and there are people in this industry that love to take advantage of things as quick as they possibly can. And it kind of shows what kind of person Jared is and Pristine Company is like, hey, it's not the time today. And when we do decide to sell that stuff, it's going to be the benefit of those that need it.
Good for you, man.
That's what so Bundle of Joy Fund is what all of the proceeds for the Kyle Busch items that we're selling over the next. It started on Saturday, I believe. Saturday we started selling, so 8 days. So it'll be through this week.
So they can go right to pristineauctions.com, and there'll be a header that says a Kyle Busch auction. Good.
Yep, right there at top. And then even if you go in there and you search and you find Kyle Busch items, anything that is there is going towards them. And it's unfortunate. We were excited to be working with Kyle, but we're going to make the best out of a horrible situation and help all that we can.
Great. Good luck to you guys. Thanks for keeping us up to date. Best to Jared, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds good. See you guys soon.
Care.
Take care.
Take care now. Jeromy Murray from Pristine Auctions.
That's great. Wow.
Rick, what happened? What happened, Rick?
Yeah, I got hit by lightning. The house just crumbled and everything went out.
You okay now?
Yeah, I feel good now. Actually, it's helped me. Give me more energy.
Turn your phone on its side, Rico.
Oh, no, please. You're going to ask him to do that, Lou.
Yeah. Turn
The
your
side?
phone
On
on
the
its side.
side?
Go ahead.
Here we go.
Here we go. There we go.
There you go.
Well, I'll be. Camera access allowed. Right.
You're good. Don't touch anything. Get your hand away from the phone so we can see it.
Okay, how about that?
Yeah, but your thumb is in the way.
Where?
Right there. Your hand. You got to move your hand.
I did.
No, we can still see it. There you go.
Okay.
All right. Can we begin
I'm
now?
all thumbs anyway. Go ahead. What?
All right. JP, you see what we have to go through?
Oh, man. You're right. Yeah, I think
You have witnessed this many times. You have witnessed this. All right, listen, we got a lot to talk about. First of all, man, this catalog, this freaking catalog is a killer. I went through it. The way you set this thing up, I mean, you have it broken down by category, highlights, vintage photos, the Roberto Clemente collection, autographed cards, Pokemon, unopened packs. It's awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
And Mike, and you had a nice little gift in there for everyone, right?
We did. Yeah. We came up with this. We're always coming up with cool promo things around here. And a new one we came up with was a highlighter for people to.
Yeah, well, my granddaughter
personally use. Yeah,
my granddaughter, she was here on Sunday morning. She grabbed it. So that's disappeared.
Gone. Yeah.
Anyway, it was great. Great auction. We're going to talk about the auction. We're going to talk about the book project. You've been a tremendous help to Ellen and I. Memory Lane has been just a great help, as has many of the other auction houses, obviously. But let's talk about some of the highlights. The first thing that stuck out was that Ruth ball, signed for the kid. Now, you had that ball years ago, correct?
Yeah. So, been doing this so long that I always say that my big joke around here is if we do it right, we're never selling anything. We're leasing everything. So, if we're good to our customers and we work hard, this stuff will be returned to us like a revolving door. And in the case of this baseball, it is come true. Actually, it came true twice. Sadly, a collector passed away that bought this ball in a prior auction, and the family reached out to us and asked us to sell it, which we are proud to do in this auction. When you look at the catalog, you see, wow, this real shellac, dark-looking Babe Ruth signed ball. What's it doing on Memory Lane's front catalog? Well, it's one of the coolest stories of a Babe Ruth ball that I've come across. And I collect a lot of Babe Ruth stuff. And, it's got to be almost 15 years ago when we first saw this ball. It was brought to us by a dealer. I don't know if I could share a little of the information. The dealer got a phone call from this family. And of this boy, and we'll call him James because that's his name. Little James at 7 years old back in 1929, his dad worked for Kodak, and his dad said, wanted to take little James to a Yankee game. So they went to Yankee Stadium, and part of the day was to test out one of the prototype cameras that Kodak came up with, video cameras. So his dad, who was part of that process for the company, took the camera and little James to a Yankee game, got there early during batting practice. How the story goes from the gentleman that bought the ball and met the family. He bought it, I think, in the 80s. The family said that James and his dad went to the game early. During batting practice, the ball was hit. Little James got himself a souvenir ball. And they were about 10 rows or so up from the rail of the bottom level of Yankee Stadium. And before the game, Ruth literally was 10 rows away from them at the rail talking to someone in the front row. So little James went down to see if Babe Ruth would sign that souvenir ball that he caught during batting practice, and his dad captured the whole experience of little James going down the steps, standing, waiting for Babe Ruth to finish his conversation with who he was talking to. Even Leo DeRocher's in the background, which was kind of cool, swinging a bat or throwing a ball. And within, I don't know, call it 10 seconds, Ruth turns to little James, grabs the ball, signs it. Little James turns around and runs up holding the ball, showing his dad that he got it signed.
Well,
And
that's a great piece of. I mean, I've seen that footage a million times. It's really a cool piece of footage.
So anyone who gets our catalog, go to our website. Just watch the video if you're not
right.
interested.
The video is really cool. Lou, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's the video in our commercial break. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The video is in our commercial break. Yeah. That's right. We when we did that video, Dan supplied that to us. So that is in the Memory Lane commercial.
Yeah, it's something to see, and it's just so special because it's the only known video of Ruth signing a baseball. We see lots of pictures of Ruth, with a lot of kids around him signing baseballs and stuff, but an actual video showing Ruth doing the autograph and the little boy running up. It's just a spectacular piece. Very fun, good conversation. But we're real happy to be able to auction it again. I'm sure it'll do real well, and the next custodian of this collectible will enjoy having it once our auction's over.
If I was going to ask you if in those days there was a collectible industry, you think Ruth would have signed that many balls?
I'm sure he would, with him and, Christy Walsh, his agent, outside of baseball that was always promoting him to make money. Yeah. I'm sure they would have had signings if they knew that.
Think of the deals, Rico, right? Think of the deals he would have made.
Well, Rico brings up the other side of the equation. I've always wondered about it. With Shohei Ohtani around now, the greatest player in the history of the game. I know everyone gets mad at me when I say that, but he is.
Stop it.
He is. But at this point in the industry, why aren't the players taking command of their own items and producing their own items? Or does Major League Baseball have a governor on those items? Because Shohei Ohtani could just sign balls and bats and just be done with it at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not able to. The team has the
licensing right?
Once in your contract, at least it used to be.
We have an Ohtani ball in our auction, single sign, and it's supposed to go for thousands of dollars. I'm gathering that the Dodgers made a pretty good deal at $700 million or whatever.
Oh, there's no doubt.
They made their money quickly because his single sign baseballs are going for thousands of dollars, and everything else, as you can see, from cards to game use.
Especially because he's only collecting $2 million a year at this point. So.
I know, really.
That poor guy. How can he live on that?
Deferred money, yeah. Well,
hey, JP, let's talk about Type 1 photos. Type 1 photos are still hot, and that's only been the case in probably the last 8 or 10 years. Can you, I still get questions from people about Type 1 photos. If this is a Type 1 photo, how come there are 3 of them? Can you kind of explain the concept of what a Type 1 photo actually is? I mean, do you understand what that?
Yeah, I started collecting early on when PSA started authenticating photos.
Yeah.
I still have a collection. We try every auction to have a section for photography. It is becoming popular, and I've been saying that for years, and it just keeps getting more popular, and it still seems to be very much in its infancy stages. But Type 1 photos are identified based on when they were taken and the photo being created or developed within 2 years from the original negative. And that's what identifies, and they do it by a couple of ways. There's stamping sometimes on the back of these photos from the newspapers or from the photographer that the experts in the hobby can identify when the stamp was. The paper also is a way to identify the era that it was produced in. But when there's multiple copies, usually what happened was there was these archives or people that produce these photos, like Underwood and Underwood, or even the photographers Conlon or Thompson, and they would distribute these photos to newspapers or anyone that was either on a membership or subscription or requested these photos. And they would have files of these photos. And if you'd call up, you'd be, the LA Times, I need a photo of Babe Ruth from that game or whatever. They would ship them out. And then the LA Times would take that photo and use it or put it in a file. And what happened was over the years, especially in the 70s and 80s, a lot of these newspaper companies either sold their archives or went out of business, and these photos got distributed. And that's why there's multiple copies. Or maybe the Conlon estate had a whole stack of 4 or 5 of them, or like Nat Fine, he had his own archives of stuff.
All right, so let me ask you: let's use a Conlon as an example. Charles Conlon takes a photo. It's a Type 1, but it's really one. They get it developed, and it's one of one. How valuable are those? And are there many of those floating around where it's the only known photo?
Well, that's usually, a lot of the cases with a lot of these photos. They're so unique and special. Not every photo was mass produced and distributed.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
I was just saying there is photos that, as of right now, are the only known examples. And I don't know, it could very well be that many of them were produced and then they were just destroyed because there was really no value. People didn't, look at it from a standpoint that it had value. It just was in the way. In fact, the Underwood and Underwood collection, which was one of the biggest distributors of photos, especially sports and Americana and stuff like that, all the way, from the early 1900s all the way to I believe the 70s, but they were around a long time. They eventually went out of business or closed down. And I know the gentleman, or I got an opportunity to meet a couple of guys who were fortunate to buy the archives. And how they bought it for nothing practically. I mean, it was almost a giveaway. Is that if you can visualize those old metal file cabinets, there was a floor in New York City, like a whole floor full of these things that were from the Underwood and Underwood offices.
Wow. And
the owners or the heirs to the Underwood company, they eventually closed, said, look, we keep paying rent, or we got to get rid of this stuff. So these two gentlemen agreed to take it all.
Oh,
and
man.
They kept it all the way till present. They have most of it still. I was fortunate early 20 years ago to be able to buy a lot of the baseball ones. A lot of the Conlon photos you remember Conlon took pictures in 1927 of all the Yankees' eyes.
Yeah.
There's some real famous ones, Gehrig eyes or Ruth eyes. They had some of those in there, and so on. There's a lot of different Conlon images that they had, but Underwood distributed Conlon photography among other famous photographers' stuff too. So yeah, that's how that stuff surfaced. And yes,
I mean, you got a ton of them. You've got quite a few in the auction. Hey, before we take a break, tell us about the Clemente section that you have.
So we were fortunate to get one of the best Clemente collections. Came across our desk. A client bought it. We handled the deal, and the client picked out what he wanted. He didn't want every single Clemente car, which there's lots of them. And they're all PSA graded. It was the master PSA Clemente set, the #1 set, and it had hundreds and hundreds of different Clemente versions of cards, from the tops versions all the way to, post serial or every kind of card you can think of. And the client that bought the whole collection, because that's the only way he was able to acquire what he wanted, went through and picked what he wanted. And the rest of the stuff, which is a big part of the collection, we are going to be auctioning, which we're auctioning some of it in this auction, and I believe in the next auction we'll be auctioning some more. But it's just an amazing variety of cards that were produced with Clementi's image on it.
All right, listen, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Lou, we're going to push out All Stars to the third segment, if that's okay with you.
No problem.
We come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the book. You guys have been a tremendous help, as has many, many other people. But there's some really cool stories. We're going to kind of pick your brain. JP's in the house, Memory Lane Auctions. Big auction is going on, ends June 5th.
6th, Saturday, June
6th. June 6th. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Rico, you okay there?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the show. I'll tell you that much.
You sure?
No, I'm serious. He got a lot of great stuff that he's talking about.
Okay.
JP.
Tell your
Really?
computer I said hi.
Who?
Your computer.
Dead. It's smoking now. It's
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Bye.
1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back, and Rico is gone. Rico's going to try to come back, I guess, Lou. We're going to
Rico's
give
here.
it a shot. We're going to give it a
Rico's
shot.
here.
Oh, Rico is here. All right, so
He's
we
muted.
talked about this. We started talking about the book last week.
Rico's gone and dead.
No, you're good, Rick. We got you. We got you.
I know it.
Name of the book is Legendary Finds and Sports Collecting Treasures. We're really excited about the project. We have been working on it since probably last fall. And we have reached out to many private collectors, many of the auction houses. We've got some great stories about some of the greatest finds in the history of the hobby. And as I mentioned last week, we've broken it down to several different categories. Legendary finds, the first section, is of course the section on the greatest finds in the history of the hobby. We know the Rosen find, the Lucky 7 find, the Black Swamp find. There's a bunch of them. And then the second section, we're calling it Epic Treasures. And these aren't necessarily finds, but they're iconic pieces that really shape the landscape of the hobby.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rick. Were you going to say
No,
something?
no. I was going to say of the industry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But a couple of examples, and I asked JP without giving away the ranch, to touch upon just kind of a couple of the different stories or the backstories, because this is all about the backstories to the find or whatever. Tell us about, for instance, do you remember the story about the Northeast player find?
Yeah, we were fortunate to.
And this is a find, by the way. This is a legit find.
It was an unbelievable find, and basically, it's kind of similar to a lot of the finds that we've been privileged to be part of over the years, where someone stumbled across it, either cleaning out an old basement or a building, and in this case, this find was a document find. And in the 80s, this gentleman that consigned it to us, it was for one of our auctions, was redoing an old building in New York, and the owner of the building asked him to basically redo a whole floor, and he got to a room, a closet type room, and it was just full of boxes, basically storage boxes, document boxes. So he called the owner and says, "Look, what do you want me to do with this stuff? This stuff's really old, but it's in here and it's in my way. If you want me to remodel, I got to get rid of this stuff." And the owner says, "Throw it away." So that construction gentleman started flipping through the boxes, and he saw it had baseball content in it. So he said, "You know what? I love, he's a big fan of baseball. He goes, I'll just take it home with me and put it in my garage and kind of go through it when I have time." So he did that, and years went by, and finally got around to, maybe 20 years went by, and got around to looking at it, and he started to realize it was pretty important documents that basically shaped baseball in the late 1800s. And it had to do with the player league, which was formed by players that were sick of the owners. They wanted to start their own league, and that league lasted for a few years. And a lot of the documents were signed by some of those early Hall of Fame players that jumped ship to start this league. And a lot of these autographs are extremely rare. I mean, to the point where they might be the only known autographs because of this find.
Now, again, without going too further deep into it, there's a great backstory to this whole find, and that's some of the things that we want to talk about. JP, there is another one. Again, I don't know how without giving away the ranch here. There's a story about Lou Gehrig, and Can you give it just a thumbnail, the check story, and with a thumbnail version of it? Is it possible?
I could try. During that period in the late 30s, early 40s, was an emotional time for the Yankees, for baseball. Lou Gehrig was ill. Nobody really knew what was going on with them. And during that period of time in the world, if you had money or you were trying to find out what was wrong with you, a lot of people would journey out to Minnesota to the Mayo Clinic to be looked at, to try to figure out what's wrong with them, to be treated. So the Mayo Clinic was the place people from all over the world would come to because the best doctors, researchers were there. So Lou Gehrig, when he was ill and they were trying to figure out what was wrong with him, went to the Mayo Clinic, and people had to stay close by to the Mayo Clinic, either in the hospital at the Mayo Clinic or at a hotel to be treated. And there was a hotel on the property or next to the Mayo Clinic where Lou Gehrig actually stayed while they were trying to determine what was wrong with him. And one of the pieces that are in this book that Memory Lane has shared with Tom to put in the book is a document that was signed by Lou Gehrig, and it pertains to his time at the Mayo Clinic, and the date on it falls right in the period or within days of being diagnosed. It's just an amazing piece of history, a one-of-a-kind item, one of the top Lou Gehrig
I'll tell you what, man, that piece in the entire book is one of my favorite pieces. It really is.
It brings things to life. It brings
it
brings everything about what was going on at the time for Lou Gehrig.
There are some other cool stories that we're not going to get into real details, but there's another cool Lou Gehrig story that you shared with us relative to when he was in high school and wound up playing a high school tournament game in Chicago. Was it Chicago? Yeah, in Chicago. And that really launched Lou Gehrig's career as a high school player. So there's all kinds of really cool stories in here. And then one of the other ones, JP, we as many people know, there's a whole section on private collectors. So Ellen and I reached out to who we consider the top 15 or so private collectors in the country. People like Marshall Fogel, Scott Island, Ken Kendrick, the heavyweights, collectibles in his hobby. And JP is on that list. JP, you have an extensive collection. You took Ellen and I on a virtual tour of it several months ago. And by the way, we're going to be coming out there in June. We're really excited to see it. We're going to be going out there for the cover shoot, and JP is nice enough to loan us a lot of his memorabilia for the book cover. But
can I ask you, Tom, 1 second as you're talking?
Yeah.
Are your stories all vintage, or is there anything?
There's a couple. Okay. They're not all vintage. There are some modern stories in here. There's a handful, Rico. There's a handful. Yeah. Most of them are vintage stories, but there's some cool ones. Pristine gave us a couple of a NASCAR one. There is a Dale Earnhardt piece in here that is really a cool piece. Nice. And then there's some really cool ultra modern cards. Michael Jordan and Kobe stuff in here. But getting back to the private collections, JP, you're included in that that group. And Rico, I don't know if you remember, but every time we go to the National at the Memory Lane booth, is that there's a life-size figure, and he's got the only complete uniform worn by Lou Gehrig. I mean, that's a great piece. You have everything from the socks to the hat to the shirt, correct?
And the pants and everything. Yeah, right? It's special. It came from obviously the estate, Lou Gehrig family, and it's the Tour of Japan uniform, right? The All-American patch, and there's a great background history to that. Lots of books were written about what took place in 1934, and that's a full uniform that I've had in my collection for almost 20 years. And what's great about this book that you and Ellen are putting together is that the collectors that you mentioned, and there's more other ones that are participating with this book, own these type of pieces, and they were fortunate to get them at some point throughout the last, call it 30, 40 years, because a lot of this stuff is one of a kind and you just can't get it. And they've been in collections for a very long time. And all the people that you mentioned and all the people that you've told me that are participating in this book love sharing. Okay, that's part of being, good collectors or dealers, is to bring stuff to shows. When people come to Memory Lane, we always show them a lot of great fun stuff. It's not about always selling things. It's about sharing. And the book's going to allow people to see things that they've never seen before. A lot of unique, one-of-a-kind items, stuff that we've shared with you that you're putting in the book, and some of the stuff you've mentioned that's going to be in the book. Those are things that people, couldn't even see at Cooperstown, which makes it a really special book to have, because they're going to get to see things they've never seen.
I mean, that's the thing that kind of struck us. There are items in some of these collections that are going to be in the book that should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. They should be in Cooperstown, number one. And there's a couple of private collections that I'll tell you what, man, I'll Hef, your collection or Hef's collection, Mike Hefner's collection. I'll put those two collections up against any private collection in the world. Marshall's collection, the same thing.
Marshall's collection is by far, put it up against Cooperstown almost to a certain extent.
Right?
I mean, it's just spectacular. He has, and he's one of those kind of people that loves to share. Is a ambassador for the hobby, and very grateful for all the years of knowing him and what he's shared and done for the hobby, and all the guys, Hefner's, all these guys have amazing collections, and this is a great way for us to share pieces. Right. Like I said earlier in this cast here, I said that we're just custodians of this stuff, and
right.
We're going to hopefully hand this to someone else or sell it to another collector down the road. But it's a good thing that while we own it, to share it and educate people and let people enjoy and experience it with us.
Well, my personal favorite piece that is in this book it's called the Afterward, Rico. And we're not going to get into the specifics, but it is a Rico Petrocelli item that is in the book at the very, very end of the book in the Afterward, and it's a very cool story. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. JP's on for one more segment. We're going to come back with an All-Stars Cardboard Memory on deck with Rico. We've got more to talk about relative to the auction when it ends. There's some really cool stuff in this auction, man. Really cool stuff. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Family-owned and operated online auction, specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on the tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Are you a collector looking for that rare trading card or autograph ball or photo? If so, then PB Collectibles in Newport is the place for you. PB Collectibles has graded cards, raw cards, complete sets, and wax boxes of the stars of the future, today, and from the past. We also offer a large selection of both vintage and modern cards. So whether you're looking to add to your collection or sell it, visit us at PB Collectibles, 269 Spring Street in Newport, located across from St. Mary's Church. We are your neighborhood card shop and much more.
Hey, I'm Mike Petroselli. If your company is looking for the best in marketing and promotional items, you'll hit a home run with Petroselli Marketing. With over 8,000 suppliers and 650,000 imprint-ready items, we can get your company the visibility it needs to get your maximum exposure. Whether it be office promotions, wearables, automotive, sports items, and everything in between, Petroselli Marketing can do it all. Our design staff will even work with you from concept to delivery and customize your products. At Petroselli Marketing Group, we will get your brand in front of your audience. Contact us at info@petrosellimkt.com or call us at 603-880-3202. That's Petroselli Marketing, where no dream is impossible.
Okay, we are back, and JP's in the house. Rico, are you back up and running?
What happened?
Can you hear us? I guess he can't hear us now. I guess he can't hear us, Lou.
You can hear us, can't you, Rico?
Can you hear us?
Mike, the mic.
He can't hear us. Then why don't you let him go away until he can come back? That's what we're going to have to do.
Okay.
All right.
Read lips.
We can hear you. You can't hear us.
Okay.
Let him go. All right. It's time for a segment from an All-Stars Cardboard Memories brought to you by our friend Paul Borges and PB Collectibles. Go to pbcollectibles.com for that special vintage card at an amazing price. You know, Rico played with or against 56 Hall of Famers, as we all know, and we had a blast writing this book. Actually, I had a blast doing it with Rico and Ellen. As I've mentioned many times, Rico and I would sit in a bar room or a restaurant and say, okay, tell me about this guy. And he was very, very close friends with most of them. He played during the golden age of baseball with Mays, Mantle, Clemente, you name it. I mean, just the greatest stars ever. So this week's star that we're gonna highlight was his teammate, Carlton Fisk. To this day, Carlton and I are close friends. I liked him as a player and as a man. When he first came up to the big leagues in Winter Haven, they said he would be the next big Red Sox catcher. Well, he caught a game, and he was pretty bad, to be honest with you. Fisk had trouble blocking balls. He was striking out and chasing balls in the dirt. I thought to myself, are you kidding me? This is our catcher of the future? Fisk obviously wasn't ready yet, so after spring training, he was sent back down to AAA. In September, Fisk was one of those call-ups, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He was changed. He was so polished. He was blocking balls, had a gun for an arm, and man, could he hit. Darryl Johnson must have worked with him a lot in AAA. Pudge was so good, he took Rookie of the Year honors, and he soon became the best catcher in the American League. On the field, he had an ongoing battle with Thurman Munson, but off the field, they respected each other. Carlton had big, square shoulders, and when he walked, he looked like he was strutting. We teased him about it a bit, but some opposing players thought he was being cocky. In reality, that was just the way he walked. A superb athlete and real leader, Fisk was an all-star almost every year he played with us. One of the things I loved was how he recapped every game after it was over. We would talk about what we did right, and what we could have done better. Cotton was firm with our pitchers, and they respected him. When Bill Lee was pitching and Fisk would head out to the mound, Lee would turn and walk almost halfway to second base because he knew Cotton was going to get all over him. Fisk would wait patiently on the mound until Lee came back. They were really great friends, and Fisk knew how to handle spacemen during the game. Pudge got more big game clutch hits than anyone on the team. One season, we were on the game of the week about 8 times. I think he hit a homer in all 8 games. In Game 6 of the 75 series, I was in the dugout when Pat Darcy, a sinker ball pitcher, came in to face Carlton, a low ball hitter, in the bottom of the 12th inning. I thought, this is going to be interesting. When Fisk hit the ball, we knew it was going to be a home run, but from the dugout, we really couldn't see it very well. So I watched Carlton. He was waving at the ball, telling it to stay fair. When the ball was fair, we all went wild. We thought we had the momentum to win it all. Cincinnati had a great team, though, and they came back to take the World Series. I was absolutely shocked when Fisk went to the White Sox over a contract issue. He had many great years in Chicago, playing into his 40s. Talk about longevity. I see Carlton a couple times a year now. He still lives in Chicago, but he comes to Fenway every now and then. Hands down, Carlton Fisk is one of the greatest players to ever play in a Red Sox uniform. He never backed down, always protected his teammates, and he was never afraid to mix it up with the opposition, especially the Yankees. He is a great friend and a Hall of Famer in the truest sense of the word. Pretty good ball player. Enrico's not here to talk about him, so Fisk was a hell of a ball player. There's no doubt. And again, you can go to tomzapplermedia.com. I think the book is on sale. It's like $30 or something. Regularly retails for $40, but it was a fun book, and I think we won the Ben Franklin Award silver medal for that book. All right, let's get back to JP. JP, you've got some really, really cool items. You've got some high-grade 50s tops. Rico, can you hear it?
Can't hear you.
You still can't hear us, right?
Yeah, I can't tell until we bring them on. So
yeah. Oh, can you bring them on?
I burn them
The
on.
phone.
Yeah, it's the phone. It's definitely the phone. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get to Rico next week. So let's talk about the Tops 50s cars that you have. You've got a slew of them. Some really cool stuff.
Yeah, this catalog really has a nice variety of different eras of cards, high grade. You know, in the 50s, we have 52 tops, 53 tops, stars, commons, and it continues all the way through the 50s. Lots of stars. You know, Clemente starts in 55, and I think we have just about every year for Clemente all the way into the 60s from the Clemente collection. A lot of vintage too, a whole section of T206.
I saw those
cards. I mean, high grade too, which is, as most people know, for T206s to see a 7 or an 8 come to auction is a rarity, and very popular. A lot of autograph cards. That's one of the new areas that's really popular right now. Is people are gravitating towards getting star cards autographed, from rookie cards to just regular issue cards. You know, we have a really rare Clemente signed card. We have a really high grade Reggie Jackson rookie. I think it's a pop 1. It's graded a 9, the card, and the autograph is 10. I mean, to have the combo of both of them put together on a card is extremely rare. And that also goes for, you know, we have an Elway rookie 10-10, a Marino rookie 10-10 rookie cards, graded 10 with the autograph at 10. Bird Magic rookie graded a 9 with a 10. I mean, extremely hard to acquire those type of combinations on a autograph card, but the autograph market is real strong. We have a whole Pokemon section.
I was going to say that, man. You guys have really starting to dive into the Pokemon stuff, and you've got some really. I'm not a big Pokemon guy, but I mean, just from looking at it, it seems as though you guys have some real high end stuff there.
The demand is there. I mean, we're typically a vintage company. However, the demand has grown so much in the hobby for Pokemon that you know, you can't ignore it, and the amount of money that's these cards are fetching are pretty impressive. So we have a nice tab section of play you know, card game cards, Pokemon, so on. Take a look at those. High grade, lots of 10s, some unopened boxes from the late 90s of Pokemon.
Saw those, yeah. You have some pretty good basketball stuff too. You got some signed basketballs that you've got an MJ, you've got a Wilt signed basketball. You've got some really
a lot of game used, yeah. Some game used.
Yeah.
From the Tom Candiotti collection, we have his teammate. Spacing out right now, but if you go into our memorabilia section, it's specifically or the highlights section, because we have lots of game used stuff. Back to Tom Candiotti Piazza, his catcher, all his equipment, his glove that he used to specifically catch the knuckleballer's balls. Candiotti. So Candiotti kept this stuff all these years. And
has he liquidated his collection, or does he still collect, JP?
You know, he has a lot of the stuff, the game used stuff of other players, he used to trade. It was a common practice. He'd give a jersey, they'd give him stuff, and he's kept all that stuff. It meant a lot to him, but he's downsizing now that he's getting older. And, originally we met him 30 years ago. He was a big card collector.
Right.
And he collected some of the best known cards in the hobby. At one time he had the 52 Mantle Tops and a 10. But Tom's a great guy. He's still active in baseball. And lately he's trying to thin out some of the stuff in his house. And we're fortunate to be able to help him with some really cool game used memorabilia. So we have some of that in our auction, as well as a lot of high grade cards, some modern cards. We have, some rookie 10s of different players from the modern era. So yeah, just check it out. We got an amazing Ohtani card that's in our auction since he's the hot player right now. Just a nice variety. I mean, this is one of those catalogs that that we really feel it has something for everybody.
JP, I wanted to ask you about, we talked about this last week. Recently in the news, and I think it's a good thing. Recently in the news, there was an article about PSA and how they are going to put $200 million into their infrastructure, and they're hiring 1,000 new employees. That's unbelievable. What is that going to do for the hobby? Is it going to help the grading, the third-party grading? Because I know there's been some issues with third-party grading, but the fact that they're bringing in 1,000 people they're going to be hiring, how is that going to affect the hobby?
Well, I think it's going to help to keep people interested. One of the challenges, I'm sure, for PSA and just talking to the people over there is the turnaround. Collecting is very gratifying for a collector. If you're a true collector, you want to have your cards graded. You want to get them back, in a quick time frame. And with the Pokemon burst, a majority of what PSA is authenticating now is Pokemon. So there's a huge demand and need for grading and authentication. So I'm sure their infrastructure has to be improved on to be able to facilitate all the submissions. So is it going to help? Yeah, it's going to be great because people can get their stuff graded and get that gratification as a collector and then submit more stuff. So I'm sure it's not easy for them to find quality help. It's not like you can just go, hey, you can be a grader. They have to, I'm sure, do a lot of training.
It's a pretty good learning curve. Hey, Louis, why don't you tell our viewers about some insurance and Finkelmeyer Insurance Company?
Well, the Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency has been insuring collectibles since the early 80s. The late Tom Finkelmeyer wrote the original sports memorabilia insurance policy when no one else in the industry was insuring sports collectibles. A lifelong collector of sports cards, Tom Sr. instilled the love of collecting in Tom Jr., the current president of Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Tom Finkelmeyer Jr., with 3 decades of insurance experience, has paired that expertise with 50 years of collecting. With a litany of professional designations, including counseling and risk management, Tom covers every aspect of your collectibles insurance needs. Unlike some companies that just sell collectibles insurance directly to the consumer online, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is the only independent retail agent who specializes in sports memorabilia and collectibles nationwide. Representing all major companies that sell collectibles insurance, there's no agent that insures more collections, collectors, dealers, appraisers, auctioneers, or events in the collectibles hobby than Finkelmeyer Insurance. Our good friend and hobby legend John Tobby of JT Sports has been using Finkelmeyer Insurance for over 20 years. If you're interested, go to the website, thefia.com. That's Finkelmeyer Insurance, where collecting is our passion.
And I want to talk about our good friend, Charlie Perino. Charlie's a piece of work, man. We spent some time with him in Florida. If you want to have an absolute blast at obtaining some great modern and vintage cards, you got to check out JRI Cards. Our good friend and paisan, Charlie the Iron Ripper Perino, along with Money Marco, the Dollar Girls, and the JRI gang, give you the chance to participate in opening a graded, unopened, and sealed fresh wax or cello pack of your favorite sport or non-sport favorite. It's easy. You buy in, Charlie opens the pack, and you get a pack fresh. You get a pack fresh card. It's that simple. As a matter of fact, if you pull that special jewel, the guys at JRI Cards will even have it graded for you in the house. Featured in the LA Times, ESPN, and USA Radio, JRI is the hottest card-pulling show on the internet. Charlie and his staff make it fun, entertaining, and enjoyable with this collection of hats, sound effects, and all the other stuff. And don't forget that JRI donates a part of their proceeds to various charities. That's JRI Cards. Check out their exclusive breaks and events that everyone is talking about. They're always digging up cardboard treasures. For a great hobby experience, go to jri.com. So, JP, we're going to be coming out there in June. Looking forward to it. We're going to. Yeah, Chrissy Good, photographer, is going to be meeting us out there, and it's going to be great. Ellen is already envisioning kind of what she wants the cover to look like. I don't get involved in that part of it. All I do is, while they're doing the shoot, what I'm going to be doing is walking around your vault, looking at all your cool stuff. So that's my game plan. So when does the auction end?
So the auction is live now. Bidding started last week, and it ends on June 6th, which is a Saturday. So we have a little less than 2 weeks, actually coming on almost a week left, and a lot of great stuff. If you go to our website, or if you're not registered, register. We'll send you a catalog. At the very least, check out some of the cool things like that baseball. Watch that video. It's really just fun.
We just watched that during the commercial break here. It was very cool.
Yeah.
We're going to be at broadcasting like we do every year. We're going to be broadcasting for the National on Friday of the National from 1 to 3. JP typically is too busy to join us, but Dan always comes on board. Dan and Joe Tomasulo and Derek and Joe Orlando. But we're going to try to get you on. And you know who's going to be guest? You know who's guest hosting with me this year for the 2 hours? Gordy Bonkers.
Hey.
Yeah, right. Gordy's going to be he's going to be co-hosting the show with me. Looking forward to it. He's a good kid, vintage guy. We've spoken a couple of times, and I'm looking forward to working with him. JP, with that being said, I can't thank you enough for the help that you've given us. I mean, just a lot of little background stuff, and I'm going to shout out to you. Shout out to also Chris Ivey at Heritage, because these guys have helped us, Louis, with images that we couldn't get. I mean, everything always seems to trickle down to Heritage or to Memory Lane or to PSA. So if we're writing a story about a particular find, we couldn't find an image. At some point in time, that item was either in a Memory Lane auction or a Heritage auction. So we went back to them and say, guys, can you help us out? And you guys would, that's phenomenal.
Happy to help. I mean, this is all fun for us to share and support what you're doing. I think what you guys do is amazing, and excited that you guys are coming out here and we can share more stuff with the hobby. And that's the driving factor. I love it.
And that night, dinner is on us, or lunch, whatever we do. It's on our company. With that being said, JP, say hi to Dan and to our viewers and listeners. Lou, great job today. Rico, I don't know where the hell you are, but we'll talk to you later. With that being said, happy collecting.